Next up on our agenda is going to be taking our illustration that looks like this, just outlines, and turning it into something that looks more like this, something that we could consider a finished piece. So this process, we're going to call it coloring and arranging. And we're going to go ahead and get started with our selection tool, black arrow, and we're going to begin by clicking on this main piece of our chicken, and we're going to turn the fill back on. And we're going to just pick a color from our swatches that seems good to us, maybe not quite so dark. We'll go with that one. And that's a start. Right, click off in the background, and we're beginning to have this be filled in. We actually want the neck and the head to be the same color. So we can come and select both of those. Remember, Shift, hold down Shift when you're clicking more things to add them to your selection. And we'll go back to that same green. Choose it again and click off in the background again. And we see that we do have these same greens here, but it doesn't feel connected. So one more time, we're going to get all three of these things selected at once. The head, and now we can pick in the just select in the middle of the shape since they have a fill again. Shift and select the neck shape, and shift and click again to select the body. And now we're going to go into the stroke. In our illustration, we don't want to have outlines around our shapes. We just want to have the colors define the shape. So we're going to click over here on no stroke for those. And once again, kind of clicking off in the background and taking stock of what we have going on so far. All right. One thing that you might notice now is that we have a little bit of our wing is not showing. It cuts off right here where the neck shape is overlapping it. So one of the really important things in digital illustrations is that we are working with layers, even in a program like Illustrator where we don't always pay a lot of attention to the layers. We've talked about templates so far, but actually in our drawing, if we click this little arrow, then you actually can see that every shape that we've made since the very beginning of our illustration has its own separate sub-layer. And so what's happening here is that it really is true that as far as Illustrator is concerned, this neck is on top of that wing. And we don't want that to be the case. So the easiest way for us to deal with that is to click on the outline of the wing. And we're going to do a couple things to it. We're going to give it a fill color of orange. And we're going to get rid of the stroke. And we're going to change the way that it's arranged. So if you have a shape selected on your screen, then in its properties panel, there's also a button down towards the bottom for arrange. And what we're going to do is bring that shape for the wing all the way to the front. So there's nothing that's going to be above it anymore. And that's fine because we don't want anything to be above that wing. Over here, I'm going to make the tail feathers on this chicken the same color as the wing. So actually something that we can try here is the Eyedropper tool. If we have our tail shape selected and we click on this Eyedropper tool, then I can come here to the wing and click that. And that's going to take all of the properties that this wing had and transfer them to the tail over here, which means now my tail has the same orange color and the same no stroke. But in my drawing, it just doesn't feel quite right for the tail to overlap the back of the body. So I'm going to pick this shape and go to arrange it, and I'm going to send it to the very back. Right? And then my body overlaps the tail, and that just feels more right to me. All right, so let's keep going. Up here, we have a bunch of shapes that we want to be pretty much all the same thing happening with them. So I'm going to choose those 4 ellipses that I used to be kind of the crown of the chicken. And I'm going to get rid of the stroke. And I'm going to go into the fill color and choose dark red for those. Right, click off in the background. And that looks good, but I don't want those things to be over top of my chicken. So I could send them all to the back separately. If I try to select all of them, then I lose my chance to do arranging over here. I could make them all one group, and even then, I can't get them to go to the back all at once. So I will just kind of come in one at a time, choose it, and send it to the back. Choose this one and send it to the back. Again, here in the middle, send it to the back, and last one, send it to the back. Almost starting to feel done with my chicken. I'm going to come here to the triangle that's making the beak. I want a fill of a yellow color for the beak. I want no stroke. And I want to send that to the back. All right. I'm going to go ahead and kind of just work through some more parts of this process, and I'll catch up with you a little bit on the other side. Okay, at this point, you'll notice we have a couple main problems. Maybe the most obvious one is that we've lost our feet for our chicken. So And we're not even really sure exactly how we would get them back. So one way that we can deal with that is up here in our View menu, we can choose Outline. And then without actually deleting the colors that we have, we can get back to this mode where we can see all of the lines that are making up our shapes. And what we want is to be able to select maybe, I might have to zoom in a little bit. Remember, Control plus helps us zoom in, and keep on shift and clicking. We want to pick all of the legs and toes on our chicken, and we are we wanted to be able to move those to the front altogether, but I forgot that when we're in this mode, we of multiple things selected, it doesn't make it very easy for us to get things to the front. It seems like we should be able to find a way to do that. All right, let's try this. We're going to put those things together in a group. The other place we can deal with arranging is right here in the Layers panel. So I'm going to grab my group, and I'm going to pull it up here to the very top. You can see that blue line is above the very topmost sublayer above the wing, and I'm going to drop it right there. And then I am going to get back out of the outline mode. That means going to GPU preview mode. So those are the two things that you can switch back and forth between, is outline and GPU preview. So I'm going to go back there, and now I can see that my legs are on top. While I've got them all selected and grouped together, I'm going to bump up the stroke on those a little bit so that they stand out more clearly. Then Control minus a couple of times. Actually also want this to kind of a matching stroke to it, not in the line for the beak. We'll keep that thin. But we got one more problem down here, and that is that both of these legs are coming out of the same side of the body. So if I try to select that one leg and do something with it, right now, as soon as I pick it, the whole group of things that I grouped together is selected. So I need to ungroup those. Then I can kind of click off and come back here to this leg. And I want to arrange that not all the way to the back, because then it'll be behind the ground grass, and also it'll even be behind the sky and disappear. So I want to arrange, I just want to send it backward. The hard thing is that I don't know how many times I would have to send it backward before it would actually be behind the body, which is what I am going for here. So I'm going to try coming back to my Layers panel again. And I can see by this little blue square right here that this is the line for the leg. I'm going to pick that, and I'm going to drag it not all the way to the bottom, but behind the body of the chicken, so below the line where the chicken's body shape is showing, and drop it there. Oh, and that puts it still behind this grass. So then I'm going to come up here. All right, the rectangle for the grass, that's also kind of a background thing. So I'm going to pull that way down here to the bottom and drop it in there. And then if I'm doing more work with this as we go along, there are a few things that I don't think I want to adjust anymore. And those are the rectangle that is our gray sky right now, and the rectangle down here for the grass. So I'm going to come into those layers specifically and click this spot to lock them. Then I don't have to worry about selecting them or adjusting them anymore. If I click on them, it's like I'm clicking in the background. So Control minus so we can see what we've got. That is the end of our video, and I will catch you next time.